In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a fake movie trailer just like this one in 5 easy steps. Let's get into it. What's up, fam, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Nate Killian, and on this channel I make short films, comedy skits, and filmmaking tutorials, and my goal is to help you take your first steps as a filmmaker. Or, if you're already a filmmaker, to help you keep taking steps. So a few months ago, I made this fake movie trailer with my good friend Mark Goodwin over at Goodwin Visuals. So the goal with making the fake movie trailer was to make something that looked and felt so real that people thought it was a real movie coming out, which I think we achieved. So now I'm going to show you how we did that in 5 easy steps. Step number 1, the first thing we did was pick a genre. Now, a good trailer will make it clear what the genre of the movie is. Specific genres tend to have specific feels in their movie trailers. I knew I wanted my movie trailer to have a specific feel, and the genre that most aligned with the feel that I wanted it to have was a psychological thriller. So that was the genre that we went with. The second thing that we did that was heavily informed by the previous step was coming up with a story. Now, obviously, you don't need to come up with an entire story because that's the whole point of a movie trailer. A movie trailer doesn't give you the entire story. What movie trailers do, though, is they give you just enough of the story so that the audience can follow along, but they leave enough ambiguity for the audience to have questions that they want answered. Use irony to your advantage. Put your main character in an ironic position. Maybe they are the unlikely hero, or maybe they're in an ironic situation. For example, my trailer is about a guy who is struggling emotionally and psychologically. So he decides to see a therapist who, through the trailer, we learn is causing psychological harm to our main character. An ironic position. Irony will help you create suspense, tension, or if you're even making a comedy, it's a great gateway for jokes. Introduce the character, introduce the problem, and create some sort of montage of them trying to solve the problem without giving away the ending. It should almost feel like a miniature version of the film. You learn who the characters are, you see what the problem is, it builds up to a climax, but the trailer leaves a cliffhanger rather than finishing the story. So now I have my genre, I have my story. Moving on to step number 3, picking a soundtrack. Every good movie trailer has a good soundtrack. The soundtrack will guide the audience in what the tone of the film is, and it supports the genre. I actually made a video breaking down the importance of soundtracks in your films that you can watch right here. So we found a soundtrack that best fit the tone of our story. I took the soundtrack into my editing software, Adobe Premiere Pro, and I actually opened a new sequence and edited the soundtrack to be the length that I desired the movie trailer to be. So now that I got my soundtrack, I'm moving on to step 4, which is storyboarding, or a form of storyboarding. So in my timeline with my soundtrack, I created a shot list and the script within the timeline. So basically what you're doing is typing in what shots will show up where, what the dialogue is in those shots, all in tandem with your soundtrack. Basically typing up what you are hearing and seeing on screen. So for example, I would place text somewhere saying, opening drone visual of neighborhood, and then underneath I'd put dialogue that says, so how are you feeling?
So how are you feeling?
Or I'd place text that says, medium shot of therapist. Therapist says, Mark, are you open to taking medication? Fade to black. Mark, are you open to taking medication? This is a basic outline of what will go where and the pacing of what it will look and feel like. Now, the reason I chose to do it this way was because I kind of found it hard to piece together a script that is intentionally leaving out bits and pieces of the story while simultaneously creating a visual for it. So this allowed for me to piece together everything that the trailer required in order for me to achieve the goal. This also gave me a clear list of what I needed to shoot, which leads me into part of step number 5. Step number 5, last thing to do is to go out, shoot, gather all your footage, gather all your audio, and then edit this bad boy together. Take those shots, take any dialogue, any voiceovers, anything, and drop them in your outline where you initially planned them to be. Now, editing this all together is pretty much an entire different tutorial in itself, so I'm not going to talk specifically about how you should edit this, but basically you just got to edit it, okay? So there you go. Those are the 5 easy steps that will get you on the path to creating a fake movie trailer. I actually think this is even a good outline for how to make a real movie trailer, because if you're making a real movie trailer for a real movie, the first 2 steps and part of the last step are already done for you. But hey, that is the video for today. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, because believe it or not, it actually helps me and the channel a ton. And if you haven't already, would love for you to consider subscribing to the channel, because that would be pretty flippin' dope if you did that. My name's Nate Killian. Thanks for watching. Keep telling stories, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome to the end screen. On this screen, you will find a button to subscribe, a couple other videos that you could watch. One that might be one I specifically picked, one that I think you could benefit from, or one that YouTube picked for you. Or you can just go to my channel and watch whatever you want.